Hi everyone, I am Aileen and together with me is Luis. Today, we will walk you through the process of importing roasted coffee beans from Ibadan, Nigeria to Toronto, Canada using ocean transport, covering both full container load, FCL, and less than container load, LCL. Let's start with our FCL scenario. Our process begins with Chloe of CB Trading, our importer in Toronto, Canada, and Adebayo of NI Coffee State, our exporter from Ibadan, Nigeria. Once the sales contract is finalized, the logistic chain is activated. To manage this, Chloe contracted her freight forwarder, AB International, located in Toronto, Canada, who partnered with DE International from Apapa, Nigeria, to ensure local expertise on the ground. DE International kicks things off by contracting IM Tracking to transport the goods from Adebayo's warehouse to Apapa port. IM Tracking picks up the 20-foot dry box container, pre-booked by DE International with Maersk, using a chassis track and heads straight to Adebayo's warehouse. While the rail from Onia is growing, we've chosen track transport for its speed, direct service, and reduced handling risk for our beans. At the NI Coffee State warehouse, the staff packed coffee beans in Grain Pro liners inside jute bags to preserve the quality and prevent moisture damage of the beans throughout the long transit. The bags were palletized using ISPM 15 certified heat-treated wooden pallets to meet Canada's strict import requirements, avoiding any processing delays or fines at the border. These are then shrink wrapped to ensure stability and protection during the transport. The warehouse staff will load 10 standard pallets into the container in 2 rows of 5, and to keep it from shifting, they'll insert damage bags to fill any gaps. In addition, instead of using a load bar, the last 2 pallets are strapped to the container's internal lashing rings for maximum security. And once the cargo is perfectly secured, the container is closed, locked, and sealed. Because Adebayo's team prepared, weighed, and loaded the cargo, Adebayo is responsible for filing the verified gross mass of the packed container before the scheduled sailing. This is mandatory requirement by the International Marine Organization through Safety of Life at Sea or SOLAS regulations, which ensure global shipping safety. As Adebayo is an experienced shipper, he uses method 2 for the VGM calculation by weighing all the items, the beans, pallets, dunnage, and straps, and adding the container's stair weight found in the back of the container. This avoids extra weighing charges and is more efficient as he can even file the BGM before the IM truck leaves their warehouse. The VGM calculations will be provided by Adebayo to DE International, and DE International will then submit it to Maersk, the ocean carrier. In FCL shipping, IM Tracking will transport the pack container from Adebayo's NI State warehouse in Ibadan directly to Apapa port in Lagos, Nigeria. A house bill of lading will be issued by DE International to Adebayo as proof of receipt of goods for transport. Additionally, commercial documents which include the certificate of origin, commercial invoice, and packing list will also be issued by Adebayo to Chloe. These documents will be shared by Chloe to her customs broker to facilitate the customs process once the goods arrive in Canada. When IM Tracking arrives at the port of Apapa in Lagos, the port of loading, the pack container will then undergo Nigerian customs clearing, and when it's cleared, it's loaded into the Maersk container ship. Maersk then issued the master bill of lading to DE International for the receipt of the goods. Maersk container ship, which is a liner service, will then sail through the Atlantic Ocean and arrive at the port of Montreal, which will be the port of discharge. I'll now hand you over to Louis to discuss the succeeding steps in Canada.
Thank you, Eileen. Once the Maersk ship docks at Port of Montreal, also known as Port of Discharge, the cargo container with the coffee beans is craned off and held for customs clearance before being loaded into the rail service that is contracted by Maersk. To ensure a smooth import process, Chloe of CB Trading has informed AB International, her freight forwarder, that she contracted SC Custom Broker to facilitate the custom process. Commercial documents issued by Adebayo to Chloe will also be shared to Chloe to SC Custom Brokers needed when filing with Customs and CBSA. Maersk line send the arrival notice to AB International, notified party. Then AB International notifies SC Custom Broker that the shipment is approaching Montreal. Once the cargo container is cleared by customs, the container will be loaded into the CM Port of Montreal intermodal terminal into a well car, double stacked for transport to Brampton, Ontario. Once the container arrives at the CM Brampton intermodal terminal, IM Trucking will pick up the cargo container and transport to Chloe CB Trading warehouse in Toronto, Canada. Once then, unloading will be done by Chloe's staff warehouse. After unloading, the empty container will be returned to Port of Montreal by IM Trucking. The benefits of FCL are from reduced handling, faster transit time, lower risk of damage, and greater control throughout the supply chain. Now we're going to talk about LCL, also known as less than container load. Assuming two skids are not loaded into the first transport, two skids will be done via LCL, as it will be more cost efficient for Chloe rather than using FCL. Anyhow, it's not an urgent shipment. In LCL, a similar process will be followed. Except that the DE International, the origin freight forward, instructs IM Trucking to pick up only two skids at the Badeo warehouse and transport the two skids to the International warehouse for consolidation. Once consolidated all the packages for the pickup, IM Trucking will use a straight truck. Since the International was the one who file and seal the whole container, he will also then be responsible for the file for VGM. This case, they'll be using ready to go. Go to the airport. From there, same as before, the ship will go to transatlantic, airport of Montreal. The same procedure. Once the container is filled with the international for goods, it goes to the import. IM Trucking will transport the container containing two skids to the Port of Lagos. The International has booked a slot with Merckx to transport the cargo container from Apapa, Port of Lagos, Nigeria to Port of Montreal in Canada. When the container arrives at Port of Montreal, it will undergo the same customs clearing process before it's loaded into the sea and rail service terminal at the Port of Montreal. I'm going to see in terminal at Brampton, Ontario. AB International. The destination freight forward has contracted IM Trucking to transport the container from Brampton to AB International warehouse in Toronto, Ontario for deconsolidation. Once the goods are sorted, AB International has contracted IM Trucking with Tailgate again to deliver the skid to the Chloe warehouse in Ontario. The LCL method gives flexibility for smaller shipments and lower costs because it does not require paying for the whole container. However, as compared to FCL, it involves additional handling, consolidation, and deconsolidation process and potentially longer transit times, resulting in higher per unit transportation costs and slightly greater risk exposure. There you go. That's the whole process. Thank you very much. May you have a lovely day.